Oh boy.
You're zooming in? Yeah.
You are entering
Oh.
Rabbit Troop Sucks. And Mike is zooming in. He's zooming out. And if you need some kind of profile case re-examined, Mike is your person here. And hi, we are at Rabbit Troop Sucks, and we had a whole gaggle of people here today. Next to me is Lamar, and next to me is Nemo.
Hello.
And in front of me, digitally, is Mike via the nets. He's phoning it in. They got him.
I'm doing internet shit today.
They got you, Mike.
You know, now that I'm
did.
looking at your background a little, you kind of have like a Max Headroom effect going, kind of. Just the corner of the room, just the angle. Are you in a Escher painting? What's going on in your background? There's like a wall going at an angle that's very odd.
There is a wall going at. I live and work in an MC Escher painting.
Yeah, right. No, I like the room anyway.
I like what we haven't explained Mike's situation or the room he's in, but the audience could use their imaginations.
That's true. Yeah, I've been a little under the weather, so rather than bring my whatever to the team here, we decided to zoom me in this week. And my home office is like a weird addition off of our second bedroom on the second floor, and it's very weird. It's a weird space.
You're in Mike's house right now, listeners.
You're in my house. You're all in my house.
You sound like you're coming right from the studio here, so hey,
that's what we like to see.
The connection is pretty good.
Nemo is thoroughly upset that you are not physically here to be pelted with candy.
I did.
Right. Did you bring candy?
Sure did. You know I did.
Are they Olive Garden mints again, or do you have mints from another restaurant?
Hi Chew, y'all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I choose great.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably reach down on the floor to get him then.
Yeah. You'd want to.
Well, that leads us directly into the film that we're going to be reviewing today.
Yeah.
I mean,
it does.
the similarities are pretty much uncanny, and we're going to be looking at Wildcats from 1986. And I'm going to have Mike tag in a little background, not about the film. I'll get to that, looking up IMDb and a little bit of a summary and who's in it, but a little bit of how did we actually get to this film. And I'm going to have Mike fill us in because this was a listener request. And side note, I'm going to say early, fantastic listener request. One I definitely do not regret.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was. Fan of the show, Hillary. Friend of the show, Hillary. Maybe both. Yeah, she sent us an email.
Double F. Fan and friend.
Yes. And you guys should also send us emails with things. But this was her recommendation. And it was a good one. I hadn't even heard of this movie before. But I really enjoyed it.
Have any of you in this room heard of this film before?
I remember when it was released, and I remember seeing commercials for it on TV just as a kid. This is 1986. The movie came and went. I didn't see it in the theater, but I maybe have seen it on TV younger, maybe around 89, 90, something like that. That is probably the only time I've seen this movie.
Have you even heard of this before?
I've only heard of the cartoon or the comics. Wildcats.
Oh,
that was
yeah.
the first thing that came to my mind. Then I looked it up. I'm like, not at all related.
That was a cool cartoon.
So
Oh my god, yeah, I totally forgot about that.
yeah, so nope, never heard of it. Also before I was alive. So good job, y'all.
So let me give shout out to Hillary for giving us a bullet point list of why we should choose Wildcats. And I mean, this is setting a standard for other listeners because like you want to send in bullet notes that I very much appreciate, such as very little actual football and lady mullets, pornographically short shorts. All of these things are true. Charming 80s misogyny, drunk children, all true. Young Wesley Snipes, younger Woody Harrelson, preteen witch Robyn Lively. That might go back and forth for me, but I'm feeling it. Catchy team songs, boy howdy yes. Classic 80s freeze frame ending. I hate to spoil it, but totally true. I will go on record, and I think Lamar might be separate in this. Nemo, I don't know how you feel. I could tell Mike's not going to be like, I am a big sports guy. I'm a big sports movie fan. And although Hillary is like, yes, there's actually little football, and she's right. I don't mind a good sports movie. There's many out there. not just everyone, but I do feel sports is great. My wife watched Wildcats with me, also loved it. And we both agreed that the reason we love a good sports movie is we don't watch sports. So instead of watching, like, let's just say a team's progression, it could be baseball, football, basketball, whatever. Like, instead of watching a team's progression for like 150 hours a season, we're like, oh, we got the highlight reel like in 2 hours, and like I get to know these characters. I could watch a good sports movie if that's the case. Like, this is how sports should be. 2 hours. 2 hours a season. I'm invested.
I think all of
Agreed.
us like underdog movies, right? Like
Totally.
that's what I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like with sports
Definitely.
movie. It's
Oh,
always
yeah.
like the underdogs. I'm like, yes, you're rooting for them. Shit's gonna happen, and that's what we want to see.
I think in general, all sports movies are underdog movies because they're all just focused on rooting for up and comer or somebody who's trying to fight some adversity and trying to win. I think you can find that element in all sports movies, which make them just a unique genre in their own case. I mean, westerns can go different ways, action movies can go different ways, but most sports movies follow that dynamic of fighting adversity and winning in the end. That's usually how they end up.
But I like this movie's trajectory is not really like moral changes with the characters. They're still kind of a bunch of a-holes, but they're a-holes who now really like their coach. And that's like really the change. It's not like they're like do-gooders in the neighborhood or anything. It's like, we were always pretty good at football, and damn, our coach is super dope, who's Goldie Hawn, and she kills it in this film. And in the end, it's like, we'll totally do anything to help her and her family, but like, oh, we're still doing all the other stuff we were doing before. And that's the moral. And hometown Chicago, this is taking place, so awesome for me.
Oh, this was Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought there's a lot of scenes in this movie where I thought it was in Philadelphia, and they have a elevated train as well. I think that's what I was going off of. Just like there's some street scenes that totally look right out of Philadelphia.
I could see that. Mostly, it kind of looked like shit most of the time.
Yeah, it's like the
that
poor
says
side of town
Philadelphia,
somewhere. Also thought Detroit too. Most of this movie takes place in a rundown area of metropolis cities. So I was thinking either Chicago, Philadelphia, or Detroit.
What if it was Freedom City and it was the future?
There wasn't enough freedom in the city for
Freedom
that.
Sector 107.
I didn't see enough freedom.
Well, I'm going to get to the director, too. Mike pointed this out right quick. The director, Michael Ritchie, and the things that Michael Ritchie did. So not only directing, I'm going to save one of the story credits this person has, but Bad News Bears, Fletch Returns, The Golden Child, and A Simple Wish. And this is amongst, like, I mean, those are major highlights. And wrote the story to Cool Runnings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and unfortunately passed away to prostate cancer in 2001. This guy's awesome. Going through this guy's filmography, be it written or directorial, super awesome for me. A lot. Like, I love The Golden Child. I'm a huge fan of Fletch. Yeah, this is great.
You just stole the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say the exact same thing. That and I was going to compare this movie to Bad News Bears. So it's kind of like, wow, it totally makes sense now because they're both teen movies around the same time with kind of the same bullet points.
If you're in like a Pokemon fight, who do you think would win? Like, enter the Wildcat or just a real Bad News Bear? Like, it's a bear, but you're like, just some bad news about that bear.
Interesting.
Yeah. And these are the topics we discuss in Rabbit Troop Sucks. Welcome back, Nemo. I'm glad you're here. Didn't miss a beat. Oh! And amongst many people in this movie, outside, I mean, we got Swoozie, we got Goldie Hawn, we got Robyn Lively, we got the debut of Wesley Snipes, we have the debut of Woody Harrelson, we have Nipsey Russell, who I think also kills it in this film. But
He's the best part of this movie.
But we also got, oh no, I can't remember how to say his name. It's like Mike Kelty. I think it's Mike Kelty Williamson.
Oh, yeah.
We just saw him, Mike, in the first Power. I told you then he was Bubba in Forrest Gump. He's also the dude in Con Air. He's everywhere. You can't escape.
Oh wow.
Apparently not. And Stacy Keach's brother is in this.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got a Keach.
Yeah.
You know, there's an old Hollywood saying, you got a Keach in your pocket, and that just means you got good luck. And probably the authorities are looking for you, but you got good luck on your side, so you got a Keach in your pocket. So remember that.
It's an all-star cast in this movie.
That is true.
It really is.
So, Nemo, one of my favorite questions I like to ask you amongst the Hunky Boy Smoke Show, who is your Hunky Boy Smoke Show in this movie?
I already had an answer prepared.
I love it.
Yes. Yes, that would be Woody Harrelson.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep, he was that charm. I'm like, damn, was that? What am I missing out during that time? But yeah, everything that Hillary wrote on there was very correct. And so, yeah, Woody's my man. And I still stick with that. And I think I kind of fell in love with him with Natural Born Killers.
Wow, that took a turn. It wasn't Woody Boy from Cheers. It
Nope.
wasn't, just some naive
I feel
heart
like,
of gold.
No, I feel like it made sense with kind of that character to Natural Born Killers. I think it's a good... It made sense. Are you surprised?
You got a Keach in your pocket. that's all I got.
I'd like to go on record and say that does not surprise me at all, Nemo.
Hey.
Duly noted to everyone. All right, so so just before we get too deep into this, we are a podcast about obscure films that may be overlooked or forgotten about over the years. And again, we definitely appreciate anyone writing and all of you who listen. So this is where we got Wildcats. And I remember seeing this movie, as I asked all of you. Mike, you had not seen it beforehand, correct?
Correct.
I saw this movie probably in its entirety maybe once, but definitely piecemealed throughout my life. It was always a movie that was on like a Saturday or Sunday, like randomly, but I don't know. I really don't know why this was overlooked on my end or brought up. I mean, I'm going to say as a huge fan of Goldie Hawn in this film that she just kills it. And going back, anyone's problem with this film, I don't think it would be with her. That if anyone's going back, like, I don't mean just in this room. I just mean like anyone who's like, I'm not a big Wildcats fan. I cannot foresee someone saying it was because of her.
No, absolutely. She kills it in this. And I'm not too familiar with a lot of Goldie Hawn's work, but this, if you're not a fan of hers, you will be after seeing this.
Right, so let's get Saving Private, or not, I keep messing up. That's just Private Benjamin. Let's watch Private Benjamin.
Right.
Overboard.
Can we talk real quick about the sick football rap that this movie starts with?
LL Cool J?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the same rap at the end, or is that a different rap?
It's a play on that rap, and it's a play on the Chicago
The
Bears Super Bowl Shuffle.
Okay, see,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking. I was like, wait, is this a real
Football.
song? Yeah, I was like, what is this? I was so confused.
It was a real oddball.
I am jealous of Goldie Hawn's singing at the end, because if someone was like, you need to be at that, and I just needed to go, football. And you could tell she's like having like a blast doing it. Like, this is so silly. But like, you could also tell she's thinking, thank God this is the only thing I have to do. But yes, Mike, you tell us. Movie opens up with a football rhyme of sorts.
What was it? LL Cool J?
I believe it was.
It's LL Cool J, and he makes
That's
a cameo later.
Does he? I didn't notice.
It is.
He's at the school on a stage.
Okay.
When we
that's
get to it, I'll
fantastic.
point it out. But
Thank you.
yeah, he did
Wow,
the
was
song.
he that young?
LL Cool J lives eternally.
I was like, shoot, does that man age now that I think about it?
Ladies love Eternal Cool J.
That would be his new name.
Godlike Cool J.
Okay, so to clarify, it is a real song. It is a play on his song. Is that correct? Because I knew it sounded familiar for someone who don't listen to sport music, if that's even a thing, but it is now.
Yeah, it's familiar to the Super Bowl Shuffle, which was a song that came out at that time.
Thank
You know it. You know it's one of your favorites. You put it on your mix.
With that being said, hey, Super Bowl's coming up, guys. Yay.
The Super Bowl has passed. We should not talk
Oh.
about the Super Bowl because that team has won, and we have all accepted the team who has won and the other team who has lost.
You're correct.
Well,
The teams have played. The teams have played, and they were good matches.
Yeah.
So we're in like a full Simpsons, like, oh, the
That was a good
Atlanta
game.
Falcons.
Or not.
Oh, yeah, or not.
I'm your camp counselor, Mr. Black. Yes. Okay. So this movie, to get with it, this movie opens up with a little bit of a montage where it's clearly Goldie Hawn's character, who is Molly, has loved sports all of her life, and they're playing pin the tail on the donkey, and kids don't know what to do, but she does. And you're flash forwarding through home footage and home movies where she's growing up. She's really good with sports. She's taking pictures in football gear. She's kind of a little bit of a rabble rouser because people are like, how could a woman play sports? Again, this movie came out in 86, probably filmed in mostly 85. Watching it in today's standards, I think many viewers would be like, are you serious? Like, why is this like as big of a problem? But clearly women get no recognition in these major sports, and clearly the funding for them and stuff. So I am actually ultra surprised for those reasons. People don't reference this movie more often. I'm just like surprised I haven't seen more memes. And not even a jest at this, just like, wow, Goldie Hawn was saying it in 86. Like, am I wrong here?
I think the style at the time was, there's a lot of like roles like that where women were just treated like shit, and this movie is a great example of that. And Goldie Hawn was a voice in this movie for that, but I think there's a lot of stories about that in the mid 80s, and when you're watching this movie, I think you have to take it with a grain of salt that this was just a time that stuff like this happened.
Oh, I'm
time.
not surprised like this happened in the 80s. I'm just surprised people are not going back and being
using,
like, wow, like she was a strong character
Yeah,
then.
that's
Like we
true.
need more strong characters like that in real life
I
today.
think that's the same way why people don't really talk about this movie or even heard about it. It just seems kind of buried.
I'm bringing it back.
There
Bringing
you
it
go.
back. All 4 listeners of Rapture Sucks. Oh, we might have 5. Start making some memes, Goldie Hawn memes, women empowerment, and cool characters and actors who should be represented in real life.
That's true.
Or have more people in real life. I like that.
Well, I really like, so the thing that why she is such a football fanatic is that her dad was a coach, a football coach. And that's where she gets like, I don't know, they were doing a lot of like football lingo. I'm like, I don't know, that's something. And the line that caught me is like, do you know anything about penetration? I was like, that could mean a lot, because that's when she was confronted with the other coach that
Oh
they
yeah,
wanted
like
to
later
hire.
on when they tried to like hire a guy who like knew nothing about football.
And apparently penetration's a big thing in football that I was not aware of until the movie.
You got to get good penetration.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I abstain from my vote on that. Yeah, I also like the allusions to dad here, because dad seemed to be like, hey, like, I'm going to teach my daughter all of these things. This isn't a problem, but unfortunately, this is a societal problem. But seemed very supportive of every time she mentions, like, my dad this, my dad that, or pictures, it was like, my dad got it. Like, he was fighting alongside of me, which I just, here's something I would question in this film. Why the hell did she ever marry this dude?
Oh my God, Frank?
Yeah, Frank sucks.
What a
Frank
dick.
He
Frank
does.
totally sucks.
I'm okay with there not being a backstory, because they're just focusing on how much Frank sucks, and you just kind of build a villain in this movie. Or one
Yeah,
of the
but I'm
villains.
just like this guy does not seem to support her at all in any way outside of like,
true.
maybe one day you could do some stuff, like whatever, dude. But like I was like, wow, like didn't you like not see that for the years you were dating? Like, did you immediately get married and have children?
No, I think the supportiveness is he's a rich white man. Then he's like, oh, well, I married my wife, and now she should be staying at home.
Yeah,
That's true.
And
Frank
that was
sucks.
it. Yeah, but now it's like, oh, but wait, she wants to follow her passion. Who does that? Like, who does that? So
Losers.
Was
Nerds.
is Verna, because she comes and goes, that Swoozie Kurtz, is that her
Who is this person?
Is that her sister?
I think that's her sister.
I have no
That's
idea.
what I was thinking.
I thought that was her sister.
Okay.
That's why it's like, you can't be like, you can't keep pushing them like this.
Yeah.
And, it's like, I'll be here to support you, but they don't like it. And so her sister is there, and I think her sister understands where she's coming from because
Totally.
they grew up in the same household. So it's like, I get it, but also this time, like slow down kind of thing. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of weird. The sister, it was either, my question was, is it sister? I'm glad you both agreed.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, or is like super close best friend. It was like a very clear connection, and Swoozie Verna is like, you got to get out of this. This guy sucks. So I do like that there is somewhat support, but yeah, there are some questions I do have in the film. Nothing huge against it. Just I wish I knew a little more. Just because, again, I actually really, really like Goldie Hawn's character. I think she's super strong. She's super intelligent. There's a lot of cool things she does in this. I'm just like, why would you ever marry this guy? So yeah, weird. But yeah, we basically get right into it in a film that we understand who she is. She is now a track coach at a high school. She's always wanted to teach football. So the football coach is not going to be there next year. She basically applies for this job. And they're like, yeah, we'll consider it. But everyone's tone is very clear. Like, you're a woman. You're not getting this job. And I think
there's a lot of weird condescending language as well. Like everyone's called like, hey babe, like what's up, babe?
Yeah, like one of the coaches
yeah.
spanks her on the ass. I was like, oh my God, like what the hell?
That was the moment where I realized, yeah, this movie is, I don't want to say dated, but if you go back to that time, it's like shit like this flew, and like it might be shocking for a little Zoomer to see that and like, whoa, you can't do that, but.
you say Zoomers?
Yeah.
Gen Z, they're like, oh my God.
A kid growing up in this age sees that and is like,
Yeah.
you can't do that. Back then, that happened all the time.
Yeah, so basically, to give her a little bit of an edge, she's convinced to go out on this pseudo date with Coach Dan. And at first, I'm saying this for about 10 seconds, he seems to be kind of cool with it. He's like, oh, you've applied for this job. Like, that's pretty cool. And the date is just them playing racquetball. And I was like, okay, this actually isn't as bad. Like, you think like you're going to the movies, you're like dressing up. Like, I'm also thinking 86, like this might be a little more formal. But this is more of like, we both teach physical education. Let's go do something and have a talk. I'm like, I kind of get it. 10 seconds is over. This guy's a total a-hole. He says super condescending, derogatory stuff left and right. This guy is a snowball of derogatory remarks. Like, it starts low here. By the end of the film, what this guy is saying, like, is like absolutely fireable offenses, like every which way. This would, like, there's no way in hell this would stand. Like, at the end of the movie.
Like that snowball reference, pretty much, yeah. He does descends into madness by the end. He's also a shitty racquetball player.
Yeah, Goldie Hawn dominates. And he's like, oh, yeah, I had a good enough sleep. And he's like a real poor sport about it, jerk.
Well, I mean, are you surprised with? And I think that's the other thing. The school that she's coming from is more of a higher what? Like they're richer. They're the richer
like a more affluent back. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
So-
like this is like you would probably think this would be like the state's like best football
Yep,
team, and
yep.
like so they're getting funding, and yeah, totally. Nemo's totally correct.
And so from there, she's now already playing into the good boys club of like, hey, I want to be in on this whole football thing when she's, coaching the girls track team. And they're like, and he legit said, women can't coach, football.
Yeah.
There's like flat out. I was like, wow.
I'm like, buddy, you haven't met me, dude. So you better hold those thoughts. I don't know, you guys just run in a circle, throw that to that person, and go take a little nap. Yeah.
No, so I think from there, I think that's where like the transition of, and this also ties in with Frank, the husband, and why he's being, the ex-husband, and why he's being such a dick.
Yeah.
Was because of then the transition from her working in this affluent high school to a different school that is not so, rich.
Yeah, so the end of this racquetball session is, I'll talk to people, don't worry about it. And Goldie Hawn's like, okay, well, at least we got this settled. Come Monday, she comes right to school, and they're like, nah, we fill this. She's like, are you kidding me? No, we fill the position. And this doof, totally out of his element and depths, walks in. yeah, I'm going to teach this. And that's where Nemo and Lamar were talking like, do you know this, like this strategy or this strategy? Do you know about penetration? The guy's like, oh my God, you can't say these things. It's all like football terms. And she's clearly, provoking him, highlighting, I'm using these terms on purpose because you absolutely have no idea what you're talking about.
Right.
Clearly the system's rigged. The school's against her. It's all absolutely abundantly clear that the school does not take her seriously on the sole fact that she is a woman and trying to teach.
Well, and the person that they gave the job to was the home economics teacher.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, so she's going to coach varsity at Central High. They're like, we made a deal, so we knew you were going to basically have a bad attitude, so here's your dream job at a terrible school. So she goes to a very, very rundown inner city school, probably directly outside of Chicago. You could see from the outside that it's ultra dilapidated, that no one cares about the upkeep of this, that...
Yo, there was a guard dog.
I forgot about that.
There was the guard dog.
Fletch move. I wonder if it's the same dog from Fletch. We should look that up.
Wow, that would be something.
It was like she walks into the school and the dog is running after her and she's like freaking out. It's like, what is going on?
It's multiple dogs.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. And then the principal's like, oh yeah, no, like he's usually here when the armed security guard isn't here. So it's normal, it's fine.
In school, Doberman guard dogs. I wrote, haha.
That was kind of cute. I was like, oh, the doggies.
And then she barricades herself into a room and enter Principal Nipsey Russell. Nipsey Russell.
Love Nipsey Russell.
Hell yes. Nipsey Russell has a one-word catchphrase all throughout this, and it's just, right. And he sneaks it in, and at first I thought, this is going to get old. For me, it never gets old. He slips it in every opportune time with such comedic timing that it totally works for me. Right.
He's great at it.
It is good.
Yeah, and he basically, he doubts her. He's like, yeah, we need this coach. They said you wanted this job. Cool. But he is not doubting because she's a woman. He doubts her because he knows exactly the type of school that they're in. And then no one could hold this position. And he's like, good luck. Like, we'll see, whatever. But he very quickly becomes a big supporter of her. I like this character. This character is definitely like top 3 people of this film for me.
Yeah, he's really welcoming to her when she comes in. They have a connection right away and good chemistry too. And he's throughout the movie, so he's not like a character that disappears into the background. He makes multiple appearances and he influences the storyline. So he's not a side character. He's kind of a main character, and this is his intro.
He's also really strategic, and I wrote down something because she's like, eventually like, yeah, maybe this isn't for me. He's like, right, but if you chicken out, no one is ever going to hire you for this position. So have a great week. And he totally calls it. I mean, I did not think that was just full manipulation. It was, welcome to the school. I am sure this dude's got a backstory and a crew of teachers in similar situations. So I'm not surprised because it's, if you ever want upward mobility, you've got to put this on your record. But if you just, jump ship here, you're never going to get this job ever anywhere. Good luck. And I was like, oh man. Right.
Yeah, he does kind of just throw her to the wolves. Just like, welcome aboard. Here you go. Go meet the team.
Yeah. So, let's talk about the first meeting of the team.
Right.
So she walks into the locker room and she's like, oh, some guys are here. And then she kind of has this different sense. Like the camera pans in a weird way where it's like, maybe things are going to get a little better. The school's crazy, but she's here to teach football. Let's meet those footballers. And boom, they're all pantsless, presenting all. Just a team of pantsless dudes.
The scene's kind of odd because she just comes around the corner and it's like, 20 people? How many people are on this team? I didn't count.
There's a lot.
Yeah, they're all just standing
You didn't know
there.
about the E string?
I didn't know they were pantsless until they did a back shot, and you can see just all their bare asses, and they have their hood or their helmets.
Oh, we see their bare
crotches.
asses. She as a character sees a lot more than that.
She's standing in front, and then they all raise their helmets, and she sees everything.
I was going to say, we as viewers saw quite a bit as
Right.
well.
I have mixed feelings about this, and so I know that's crazy.
About
but-
seeing the penises.
about this scene. Like,
Okay.
I'm like, first, clearly this is all crazy wrong, and this is super aggressive, and just really gross, like to do to anyone. But to highlight the mentality of the time, I really feel it works. Like I was like, wow, this is super messed up, and I don't think a movie that came out today would dare do something like this.
Would show a bunch of high school students' penises on
Not
screen?
show it, but even the illusion that they would do something like this to a coach to be like, get out of here.
Because that coach would be in prison immediately.
Yeah.
Well, all the players would be in prison immediately. Like, you just flashed a female coach your genitalia, like, you're all going to jail.
You wouldn't get away with that even in a light or even a heavy comedy these days on anywhere.
It kind of, then the reason I'm saying I'm mixed feeling is, like, one, it's super wrong and gross, but two, this show's kind of like the lawlessness and the apathy towards schools and, like, this kind of area that it's, who the hell are you going to tell? Like, these people don't care about you. Like, this is now more the reality. It's not the, flaking bricks and paint. It's no one gives a shit. And now you just got a firsthand experience of it, like, darkly. And I was like, wow. That was just like a dark moment for me. But, like, yeah, that was a bummer for her.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, yeah, this movie's totally rated R.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Oh, shoot.
because I was like, it's 86. I was like, is there a chance that it's like PG?
No, it's rated.
It is not. It is totally rated R.
I had
have
to
been.
keep reminding myself that we're in high school, y'all. So,
Yeah.
like, this is like 18
Right.
to 17-year-old kids in theory.
Or younger.
Yeah, and I'm like, ooh, I think it hits differently, but it's college. You're like, okay, they do bullshit stuff, whatever. But because it's high school, it feels different in that capacity. But I think I wasn't surprised with that scene, actually. I think that would have been the best way to scare any female anybody, is to do that. And so I was like, well, they're really trying to push her out. And I think that's the other thing, is that they knew it was going to be a female coach, and they keep bringing that up again, is that you're a female coach. You don't belong here, and you can't coach us. And I think it reiterates until, the next scene.
Yeah, which is them just going right to the field and then, like, clowning all up around her. But they do establish something that happens throughout the film that I absolutely adore, that at the drop of a hat, someone just drops a boombox and starts dancing. Like that. That was 86, baby. Like, you don't like what's going on? You do like what's going on? You don't even know what's going on. You play on a boombox, you start dancing, baby, you got a party. All of a sudden, drinks are coming out, you meet some people. That was pre-internet. Internet's ruined that.
It really should have been a law that every movie should have had a boombox, and every time it played, everybody had to dance.
Become your own musical.
It's like adult hokey pokey music chairs situation.
Exactly.
Love it. So yeah, they basically punk her. Just to skip around, we're gonna go just really play by play on this. She just basically has a bad day. She comes home and she is not having it. She clearly wants to quit in all this. Sorry, before we see the end, we do see the mysterious character of Bird, who is just in the stands, observing things. Who is, again, the same actor from Forrest Gump and Con Air, and as we did recently, the first Power on Rabbit Troop Sucks.
Wrote down a hip-like figure in the bleachers wearing sunglasses in the overcast with a cane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got the cane. He's also, like, selling watches out of his trench coat.
See, I wasn't sure if it's watches or drugs. It's like, are you first thing I thought about was like steroids?
Hear me
I think
out.
he had both.
I think we've just uncovered something. This character is the influence of Wesley Snipes' Blade. He's like, that's who I want to be when I play Blade.
He's
that
all
guy.
in the shades. He's like, I gotta have that.
He's like, change out the cane with a sword, and I'm that guy.
He did kind of look like Blade with the shades on.
Damn it, Wesley Snipes. I also saw that Wesley Snipes, part of the trivia on IMDb was, and I think I've seen most of these. Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson, I think, are in 3, if not 4 additional movies together.
Yeah, this is why this movie, I'm surprised I didn't go back to it, because the other 2 movies that I know the Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson connection from, really
White
love.
Man Can't Jump.
White Man Can't Jump, and Money Train.
Yeah.
Money Train, yeah.
There is another one, I believe. At least one more.
If there is, I gotta find it out.
Money
because
Jump.
I do love the other movies. I thought they
White
had
Money
great
Jump.
chemistry.
White Money Dunk Dunk. Yep. So yeah, we get Molly's home. She wants to quit. And she's like, pretty much no. And I don't know, a bunch of stuff happens. And oh yeah, she then goes back to school and relives her days. A lot of derogatory spray paint all across. Does anyone remember the derogatory word spray painted across?
Well, you just real quick to go back. She gets home and she does want to quit, but her sister or whoever the fuck that lady is gives her a coach's stopwatch.
Oh, that's right.
With an engraving, and like that motivates her to keep going.
Oh yes, and the stopwatch will come back throughout time because now the stopwatch is broke. That we're back at school and it's broke, and they spray painted her office and trashed it up and stuff.
And I think this was the first time they had that conversation about, was it this or before that, where they had the conversation of like, should I let Frank, ex-husband, know that I'm working here? Because that's when she's like, no, you shouldn't, because he won't let me.
Yeah, you're right, because that is brought up several times. There is like, I know, like, this might, I think you're right, that this is like maybe with the swoozy Goldie Hawn talk.
Yeah.
Where it's like, maybe, like, let's see how it goes. Because then eventually later it's like, you cannot tell him.
Yeah.
Like, just never bring it up.
And then he pops up at the most inopportune time. I'm like, what a dick.
Oh,
He
when she's in the
does.
bathtub?
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
that
is
was.
So
like, come
actually,
on.
this is funny. And so I was taking some notes, and my wife and I were watching this, and she's like, "Oh my god!" Like, and I was like, "Is she naked in there?" Because I looked down, and my wife's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Rewind it," and I was like, "Rewind and watch it as a family, scene by scene."
Rewind it, pause it, and leave the room.
Because I was like, I actually needed to know. I was like, how much nudity is in this? And like Goldie Hawn is topless, and that is when I immediately looked up. I was like, I didn't think this movie was rated R. This movie is 100% rated R. She is totally topless. And now let's rewind. This character, her husband, Frank, just opens the door and has a conversation with her naked in a bathtub. Yeah, I know they were married. This dude is dating someone else. They're absolutely divorced, and he's trying to have a conversation while she is absolutely naked in a bathtub. No. What the hell?
Conversation's like 5 minutes. Too,
I
and
know,
the whole
dude,
time
get
she's just
out.
covered up, and
She's like,
it's
"Give
just
me
a
a
casual
towel."
conversation. It's
So-
like, you gotta quit that school. You can't go there. It's like,
But we gotta back it
out.
up before that scene
There we
because
go.
that
Or
was.
topless in bath. Creeper ex-husband walks in.
But I think that was after the whole big tribulation scene with the team.
Oh, in the locker room.
No, when they all ran. Because right before that, and that's why she took a bathtub. But that's why she took a shower.
Oh, she wins them over.
She wins them over, so she's now like, I got this. And so she was,
Yes.
in the tub for that.
So the big thing, yes, Nemo is 100% correct. The big thing that we skipped is she is sick of every one of these players. She's sick of their attitude, and she comes in with an ultimatum. She's like, we're all going to run. You think you're tough? We're going to run laps. And I'm gonna run, and I'm gonna outlast all of you, every single one of you. This is my bet that I will be the last one standing. And if any of you beat me, I'll just quit and get out of here. But if I leave, or if I stand, I'll do it. And one by one, they all start failing. And I do kind of like it because she's leaving, and she's like, "See, now you're gonna listen to me." And they're like, F you. And she's like, what did you say? And the guy's like, F you, coach. And she's like, all right, kind of better. And she seemed kind of sincere about it. And I was like, that is an improvement.
Yeah.
She got what she wanted out of it.
This is also where Wesley Snipes refers to his penis as 10 pounds of dangling fury.
Yep.
I didn't write that down.
That's going to be a tattoo that someone's going to get in this room by the end of the night.
Oh, that was intense. No, and I love the rain scene. You have to add the rain scene to any sort of running, y'all. Like when it started raining randomly.
Oh yeah.
And then of
Yeah,
course,
when they're doing like the race, it looked like she was running for 7 months. Like they started in spring, and then it was like it started snowing. The leaves fell. Yeah, and that it was all fucking muddy and raining, and this is where her stopwatch broke.
Yep, and this was, and I think it was just a great. I think the transition in the scene is to show like as all the guys are realizing like, oh shit, she actually means what she says. She might know what she's doing.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Like it was a good like, I don't know, personification of like that transition of like respect for her, even though they hated it. And then the other note that she provided to Wesley Snipes was, oh, I forgot to mention to y'all or to you guys that I've done the Boston Marathon twice.
Yeah.
And he's like, damn it.
Right.
Also, the one thing I should mention, and I hate to say it because we're 40 minutes in, but I think this is a good segue. A rookie high school football coach has a harder time than she expected trying to whip her tough inner city team into shape. There's your synopsis for the story.
Oh, perfect.
Right, there
Good. I'm glad we got there.
So, yeah, if any of you missed that, we cover obscure films. We'll eventually tell you what they're about.
Our listeners were really confused up until this point. They just had no one knew.
Like, tell me more about Swoozy.
Right. Who are these people? What's Goldie Hawn doing? 10 pounds of dangling what?
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, so that they all kind of have like this new respect, and now we have
Game day.
our first training montage.
Oh, yeah. Many
And
montages.
And I don't know much about football, but none of what they were doing in this montage, it looked like they were training for Flashdance, not training for doing football.
Did anyone notice that someone threw down a boombox and started dancing?
Sure
Because that was
did.
part of the montage.
I
Right.
didn't catch
Sure
that,
did.
but I believe it happened.
And sometimes when you're training, one guy lays down and then you just do a flip, literally a jump flip over another person during a boombox montage.
I don't watch a lot of football. Is that a typical
I know the
formation
push-ups.
or?
I know the push-ups were fine, but then all of a sudden I was like, are they doing a jazzercise thing? Like I got
Yeah.
really confused there. But then I was like, oh,
Okay.
86. Maybe that was how they train.
It's a different kind of football.
I know. I'm
Mike,
like, hey.
wouldn't this motivate you to watch more football yearly? If every year football could be condensed to an hour and 45 minutes of this.
I mean, if that was the case, yes. This movie was shorter than the average football game. This movie
Oh,
was
yeah.
shorter than 5 minutes of an average football game.
I'm going to tell everyone my views on football. I have no problems with football. I do like other sports much more. I know Mike does not like sports pretty much in general. But football really, really rubs me the wrong way because I remember my dad and my brother are football fans. And I learned as a child what a timeout actually meant in the world of football, and that just means universally this game could last forever. Because if I ever wanted to watch something on TV as a kid, like I want to watch a cartoon or whatever, it'd be like,
The game's only 5 more minutes left.
only 5 more minutes in the fourth quarter. That is an hour and a half could go by. like that's not even an exaggeration. You're like, what's happening? They're like, well, they could call another timeout. And I'm like, forever? And then it's another commercial break, and then another commercial break, and then it's like, time to go to bed. You're like, what the hell just happened? Like, football, come on. Come on.
Football is awful. It's impossible to watch, and I fucking hate it more than most things in life.
I want to clarify that we're talking about American football, right, y'all?
That's true.
Correct.
Yes.
Just making sure, with our
Not-
international
That's true. You don't want to piss
viewers
them
or
off.
listeners. out
Also,
there.
for the record, international football is almost worse than regular football.
Now you're
Rabbit
getting
Troop
into
Sucks has
territory.
been brought to you by sports.
The field's too damn big.
Oh my goodness.
That's all I have to say about
Rabbit
soccer
Troop
football.
Sucks has been brought to you by air hockey. Short, sweet. You want to feel the air? You want to feel the breeze? Air hockey.
Now there's a sport.
$1, 5 minutes. Go. Fight. Yeah, okay. So we're at this game, and to cut to the chase, they lose.
It's a big game.
They're not doing good. But
No.
even Principal Nipsey Russell says, I saw potential. Like, he's kind of in. Like, everyone's kind of like in a little more. They're a little bit in.
Right. It
People
wasn't a
aren't as
disaster like
jerks.
they're used to.
Yeah.
And then she goes home again and does some stuff. Oh, they steal the goat, the mascot, and she has to drive it back. She's not really happy.
Yeah, they steal the goat, which is the mascot for the team called the Cougars.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
They specifically said, we all gonna go eat those pussies.
that's correct.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
I got really confused about which animals are we talking about
You
again?
you should tweet Woody Harrelson that. He'll get back to you. Anyone from this movie, if they want to get to us, because they use that terminology as an homage on the etching of the watch later on.
Yeah.
Very 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 beautiful, beautiful poetic language. Yes, of the time. Yeah, she goes home. And they what are they doing? What are they doing?
Her kids are being fucking buttholes
Oh yeah, she's tired.
because she got home late because she had to go return the goat. The kid's like, oh,
yeah.
I'm eating ice cream because you didn't make supper.
Yeah,
I
the
hate
oldest
you."
daughter, Lively,
Yeah.
she's like, all you care about is those stupid boys. You didn't even notice my hair, says Alice, the oldest daughter.
Right.
Because she dyed her hair
That's-
red and it's like punk rock
Yeah.
and she's trying to get some attention. And Goldie Hawn is like, hey, it's cool. I only work 60 hours a week and, you know, I make dinners and your hair's red and I thought it was cool. And now that I said it's cool, you're being a real jerk about it. So awesome.
Motherhood. Woo,
Yeah.
woo.
Well, like, this is also the first football game of the season. Like, how is this girl feeling dejected that quickly?
Oh yeah, I think it's because of all the time she spent training him and all that.
All those montages.
I think it's because she
Yeah.
doesn't have the internet.
Yeah, she's just really bored.
If she had the internet, this would be problem solved. She'd go online. She would meet someone who'd be like, "You're beautiful for who you are. Let me fly you to this country
Oh,
and turn
goodness.
you into fish food." Like, boom.
Or shove her kids in front of YouTube and be like, "Here, now stop being so whiny."
You're the
little
chocolate
bitches."
rain. You're all the chocolate rain. Can't go to bed till you
Well,
drink chocolate
when
rain.
when the daughters were being a-holes, I was thinking about, like, what the hell did the father do? Like, what does he do? Like, I know he's rich. What
Oh.
do we actually know what he does?
Frank.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what he does,
but he has money apparently.
Yeah.
He does. He has
Yeah.
money for a better lawyer, a nicer car. Clearly,
Getting her jobs, and that's the thing.
yeah, he's
That's-
got weird connections.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, oh, I can get you like to a different like transition you to a better place with a better location and stuff like that. And that's why he had an issue was that where you are at is not the best for the family.
That's true. Frank is checked out. She's just raising them all alone.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
has custody on the weekends. You know, Frank is a douche, but to his credit, like, the deal breaker for him is when he finds his daughter drunk. Which is,
when
like-
when me and my wife were watching this, I also agreed. I'm like, yeah, this guy sucks, but like, if I walked into this situation, I would not be super cool with this situation.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, like, I mean, I'd be pissed too. I mean, he kind of handled it in a weird way, but like, you come home to pick up your.
we're
your
not at the
child.
party yet. We're not at the party.
No,
yet.
no, yeah, we'll get there.
Okay.
But like, yeah, okay.
Well, okay, so Goldie Hawn is now just like, oh my God, okay, I'm winning the team over. This is a struggle. I'm trying to keep my family. This is a struggle. She's back at school and they're like, hey, there's another guy who's actually registered on the team. His name is Lee Vander. We need Lee Vander. And you got to
Evander
definitely,
Williams.
yeah, we've definitely got to enunciate it as they do all throughout. And they're like, good luck with that. And she's like, okay. So where do they go? They take some ride.
They talk
that's
about
right.
Lavander. He lives in like a bad part of town, and
Goes to a bar asking for
Yeah.
him, and then like, and the thing is that we've seen this character this whole time, y'all. Like he's
Blade.
never.
We just didn't know who it was.
Yeah, we
Blade.
never left,
Mm-hmm.
but he was there.
Well, this
Yeah.
would be a different movie because vampires have been haunting and hunting down Goldie Hawn the whole time. You just didn't see it because someone had to take care of it.
Yeah. Yeah, so she does this weird odyssey
find
like,
him, you know.
to find him, like to a pool hall. She has to buy hubcaps
he
from
goes
some
to
guy.
pool hall. Oh, that hubcap scene.
I like that guy.
That guy. Something triggered me. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode where they go to the garbage dump and they get like a garbage cat and
I
a
remember
police
that.
car. That's the same guy. That guy who works at the garbage.
phenomenal.
I
It's
had
like
to
an
look him
homage?
up. Yeah, I had to look him up. He's in a lot of stuff. I wrote down his name or somewhere, but
Is he doing that in all
he's
these films?
pretty much everything. So that's how I recognized him. Is he pretty much just plays the same character. I also like the scene because he's sitting in like a dark room and the only illumination is from the light when Goldie Hawn opens the door and there's hubcaps all over the room. And he's just sitting there with his feet soaking in like some disgusting looking water and he's smoking a cigar.
Basically she gets with Bird and the whole deal is like, I need a ride. And she is assisting him and his friends to burglary and kind of calls it. And the cops come and her and Bird hide in a dumpster, or Lee Vander now, because now we know who he is. Lee Vander, not Bird, hide in a dumpster. And she's like, I will keep my mouth shut if you join the team and play. He's like, you won't do it. And she starts screaming. He's like, okay. And then boom, he's the new quarterback. we quickly go to the next day. And Woody Harrelson is like, oh, you got the new quarterback. And he was advocating the whole time, like, I want this, I want this. And she's like, are you okay? Like, are your feelings hurt? And he goes, well, you need a new slap back, and I have no idea what that means. And she's like, well, you're hired, and everyone's happy. And then they win the next game.
He was so charming when he said that, though. It was really cute. I was like, oh. I also don't know what a slapback is.
What is it? So,
I have no idea.
Wow. I mean, you are the football guy.
I've never heard this terminology before. I questioned if he said that or something else. But I'm guessing he's a backup. I'm guessing, I don't know why
I
you're so
literally
angry.
wrote, Lamar, slapback, no clue. And I wrote that like as a, I don't know what's happening.
So I'm guessing he's a backup.
Well, they win the next game. It's really quick. And noting to who suggested this to us, Hillary, that there's very little football. It's true. Like, they win the next game. That is maybe a 10-second scene. It's like, they did it. And quickly cut. Now we're at a party at Goldie Hawn's house. I do kind of like the vibe. Like, everyone's like having fun. It does. Yes, people are drinking and it's underage drinking, but it doesn't seem like this party's out of control. There are problems with this regardless, but it's a cool vibe because Goldie Hawn's having fun. The team's there. You could see the camaraderie at this moment. But this is when Frank walks in, and to Goldie Hawn's credit, before Frank walks in, she's like, whoa, no drinking in my house. Gathers up these bottles of booze. She's holding them like to her chest. Frank walks in, is like, what the hell is going on? She turns around and is now like, hey. And he's like, what's going on? And he's like, oh, we had a party, we won. She's like, you're giving alcohol to minors? She's like, no, I'm taking it away. And he's like, what? And then while this has all been happening, Alice, the oldest daughter, she has been just getting drunk off spiked punch. What? No, is that later?
That's
or
later.
No,
That's
that was
later,
here. I thought that was here.
No, that was later time.
Here the
she's
daughter
just-
gets punched in the face. Here.
That's right.
Yeah.
She is not drinking, but the dad assumes she is drinking.
So I will assume it's the weekend because it seems like the kids pack up to leave to go to the dad for the weekend. So it's probably like a Friday night after they
That's
won
what
the
I got.
game.
Yeah, I'd guess
Yeah,
that
so
too.
Friday night they won the game, and then it's like everything that could go wrong went wrong with that interaction with Frank being there.
And it was all just like miscommunication.
Yeah.
Yes, there was underage drinking, but she's like Goldie Hawn. She's actively putting a stop to it. But Frank's version is, oh my God, I'm just seeing you with bottles, and then I'm seeing my daughter around this and stuff like that. And sorry to spoil it, Robyn Lively, Alice, the oldest daughter, she will be getting drunk. That's when they're at the
Right.
school function.
Yeah.
And that's where all
Right,
the Cool
but-
J's at.
There's like a little tussle, and she gets like pushed into a bookcase and gets a bloody nose.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
the
Frank-
tussle happened because of the girlfriend of Frank, like one of the student guy was
Oh,
hitting
it
on
wasn't
him.
like Wesley Snipes
Yeah,
trying
Wesley
to fuck her or
Snipes like,
something.
hey, and then he started talking, and then his girl was like, what are you doing? And then like grabbed her head. I'm like, damn. I was hoping for more cat fight, but it's all good, which freaked
Well,
out Frank.
This does lead to my favorite Nipsey Russell moment, because Frank is getting all punchy, and Nipsey Russell comes downstairs and is like, hey, what's going on? Frank just turns around and cold cocks him.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I thought you were one of them. And Nipsey was like, bitch, I am one of them.
Right.
Right.
Just like that.
So then we're back at the next day. Was it a lawyer is now threatening that Frank could definitely take control of the kids and is wanting to do this.
Full custody, take control of the kids. You make it
Yeah, that's crazy.
full
I
custody.
mean, who wants that?
And then they're back at the gym where they're playing racquetball, which I'm guessing is like a club or like a YMCA. I really couldn't tell like how nice it is or whatever, but regardless, Goldie Hawn runs into Coach Dan. And Coach Dan is such a dick. That's what Nemo said. This guy is, he really highlights it. I told you, snowball effect. So at first he's saying like all these shots against women, which is bullshit. And he's an ass, whatever. But now it's growing. And I said towards the end, like the end of the movie, which we're not at yet, but the end of the movie is just the worst. But now he's like, the whole reason anyone even hired you is you're just a prank. We're all just laughing at you. You're just he says you're the joke of Chicago. I'm like, holy crap, dude.
Yeah.
Like, so let's kind of like analyze this for a second. how deep of a hatred does this asshole have for women? Because this was a colleague and she was successful with her track team. So she clearly has proven herself. Like, I know how to teach. I can work well with people. I'm very athletic. I clearly have demonstrated I'm very good with football. And this guy is so hurt that she's a woman that he's like, I have set your life up to be a disaster. I'm like, oh my God, like, you're a villain. This guy's a villain.
Right. Well, I mean, they were all buddy when she was staying in her lane and just like coaching women's track.
And maybe it was a date.
But like the minute she steps out and tries to enter the male realm, yeah, it's over. Game time.
Yeah, his true colors are coming out. I think it's because she's trying to get into that good old boys network, and it's like they don't like that at all.
Well, I also feel like because she's also rejected Dan, because it seems like before that they were talking about, ooh, that means you have to go on a date with him.
That's
like,
true.
Actually, like she's, I think in the past have somewhat rejected him or like turned down his come-ons.
Yeah.
And so there's another hit to the ego too. It's like, man, I got everything you want. Why wouldn't you want to be with me? Because I'm, whatever. And because she won't date him, like he kept pushing. And that's what happened.
How gross.
Yeah, legit. That's just what it is. I like the fact that, she's like, well, we're winning and all. And he's like, yeah, because you're not playing against good teams. And so wait until you play against good team. And then she's like, well, if y'all make it to the all-star game. I don't know. I just made up.
It's all state.
Thank you.
State, yeah. I was like, I don't know what it would be in high school.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
And then that was the last. The last thing she said to him as he was leaving was like, if you make it to the all-state game.
Yeah, this guy's a huge ass. Mm-hmm. Now two things happen that have been progressing a little bit, and it's ramping up who's on the team and some of the team dynamics. So one thing that we've been seeing up until this time is there have been I think at first a duo of cheerleaders. And this is, the Wildcats are a ragtag team. They've got 2 women cheerleading. They're basically in like sweatpants and like crop t-shirts and doing their best. Now we have more. And you could clearly tell that this is like grassroots, what support our team, which I think is super cool. And we get a secondary new player, potentially, Philip Finch. This guy is selling academic papers to all of the team. He's like, I'll do your book report. I'll do this. I kind of like this guy's side hustle. They're paying him and he's giving results. But this guy, not to make fun of his size, this guy is huge. Like I am not the person to ask someone how much they weigh. Lamar, you know more about sports. How much do you think this guy weighs?
He's easily the biggest guy in this movie, and he's probably up to 300 pounds.
Yeah.
I would say probably more than that.
Yeah, but
I was thinking as a high schooler, in real life, probably more than that. But if a high school senior walked in 300 pounds, he would look like this.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's huge. And again, this is not making fun of his, build. This is a football movie, so there's already kind of, your size, your bulk, potential in football, we might tap into that. So at the moment, Goldie Hawn shoos this guy away, even though he's making side deals, which I like.
But then she ends up recruiting him, right?
Yeah.
She recruits him because he messed up one of the player by betting him to run into a locker. And I was like, gosh, I forgot how stupid high schoolers are. and $5, and I'm like, oh, was $5 was a lot during that time.
I can't remember all the details, but like during that game that ended, they win, and Nipsey Russell, all I wrote is, Nipsey Russell is, this is how I wrote it, Nipsey is so happy. I don't remember the details.
You could have written that at any time, and it would have been true.
but I just read my notes, and I'm like, I don't know exactly what happened, but I could see his face. I know exactly what his face was in that moment. When Nipsey Russell smiles, damn it, the world smiles. Like, someone just gave you a hug with a smile. That's the Nipsey Russell. I mean that as a compliment. I love this guy in this movie. He's so nice. I know him from nothing outside of The Wiz.
Yeah, same here. I know him from The Wiz and this, and he's done other things. I just haven't seen him.
Nice.
I think I just know him from like old game shows.
That too.
Yeah. From here, then we get Frank coming by, and Frank gives Molly an ultimatum. He's like, "Hey, I got that." And Nemo noted this earlier. He's like, "I've got this sweet deal with you. Like, you're gonna teach at like some prep school or whatever, and you're gonna teach like general physical education." It's like, it's very clear that the illusion that Frank is giving is this is like, since it's all women, they're just going to be taking walks and they won't be doing anything, nothing to strain themselves. Like, this is all dumbed down for you, which is like really gross. And he's like, and the kids will go there, so they'll have better education. See, I have connections, so I'm not going to press any legal matters. You're going to do this. You basically have to figure it out. The end.
Right. That was the deal. Like, the girls can go here, but you have to teach athletics here. And it was specified that teaching athletics meant teaching jazzercise.
And simultaneously, Goldie Hawn loses her voice for a week.
That's right.
Oh yeah, because she's been yelling at the celebration.
She couldn't really argue her point to the teachers of this other school, and she didn't know that she was being used until after this conversation, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It didn't matter because she's still being used, and she still doesn't want to do it.
Because she knew she didn't want to give up what she was, she didn't know. I think she didn't know how long she was going to be there, but she didn't want to give it up for this other thing.
She's still having conflict. But I believe we're going to homecoming, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there's another quick game, and again, these scenes of them playing football are really quick, and they win, and then they go to, I believe, some kind of homecoming or dance. At this point in time, why do I have notes that Nipsey Russell is kicking people? Frank shows up and Nipsey Russell kicks him. And I have that my wife said, "Get him, Principal Nipsey." And I wrote that down on the side.
When is he kicking people?
And so regardless, I mean, just to jump around, they go to this gym club dance. LL Cool J, that is where his appearance is. He is on the stage singing the song that we've heard in the beginning.
2 seconds.
Yeah, I would say 2, 3, 5 seconds. And we very quickly see that someone is spiking the punch, and the daughter Alice is drinking that punch, and she is going to be intoxicated right quick.
She's getting lit.
Woo!
This punch.
But this is where we get the coach to come up and talk about the plan. But before that, there was that discussion with her and her sister about, yo, this is what Frank wants me to do. What do you think I should do? And this is like sister wisdom of like, are you gonna tell them? Because they will know if you don't tell them, your intention and stuff like that. And then the next thing you know, they invite her on stage to talk to her, which this where we get that stopwatch. Because the team gifted it.
No,
to
yeah,
her.
she wins over the team, and
Yeah.
the team gives her a watch.
And before she gets like on that stage to like make those announcements, this is another note. And I have these like really weird notes about Nipsey Russell. He is so happy. He gets on stage and he goes, "Is this school spirit? I must be in the wrong place. I must be dreaming." And
his
he
speech,
says it
yeah.
with a smile that the grin just goes ear to ear. I'm like, is this real? Is it like Nipsey Russell? Do you think this is really happening? Because man, that guy's smile could light up a room. Nipsey Russell, come on, Rabbit Troop sucks.
I think he's dead.
Oh, yeah.
Aw.
Nipsey Russell, we summon you to Rabbit Troop sucks.
Let's have a seance for Nipsey Russell here on Rabbit Troop.
Hey y'all, just quick question, because I think there's a very important scene that I'm not sure is it after this, the gym scene, or before, where Nipsey has that conversation with Coach Dan about the All-State.
That I think might be coming up.
Because that's an important
Sounds like
one.
it's coming up.
No, it is
was-
totally coming up because
Okay.
yes, I know exactly what you're
Okay,
saying.
'cause I
Where the coach
wasn't
becomes
sure-
another jerk
Yeah,
moment.
because I wasn't sure if did he, because that's the first time I'm like, ooh, he is really supporting the
Okay,
team.
so there's a secret thread that I think you are noting, and that is the film alludes to, that Frank has all these connections, and I think one of the connections is being pulled because they're like, damn, your wife is actually a threat to these other teams. So what we are not shown as an audience, but maybe could allude to, is the reason that Frank is getting this sweet offer for Goldie Hawn is get her off the table. Like, high school football is big business. Like, we don't need this kind of loss. We'll just give your wife some cush job and your kids are taken care of, but get the hell out of here. And I'm not saying that Frank is aware of this, but it might be the reason why this sweet deal pops up. Because, yes, Goldie Hawn is like, I'm not going to quit. Says this now. It doesn't say anything. It's just like, it's going to push through. She wants to be with the team and stuff like that. Then the daughter gets super drunk. Soon we're going to get to this, the Frank versus, not Frank, Coach Dan versus Nipsey Russell situation. But basically, Wesley Snipes takes this woman home and Alice nicely to the coach's house. They put Alice in bed nicely. And then Wesley Snipes and what my wife said is a middle-aged woman start making out on a couch.
She was.
And Alice is drunk and they don't really know where she is. And then eventually the dad, unfortunately, simultaneously shows up at the Goldie Hawn.
Because Alice called him.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
She was like, I'm
Drunk call.
yeah. It's like, hey,
Drunk call.
Is it Patricia? Is that the girlfriend? Whatever her name is. Was I like, put him on the phone so I can tell him how I feel about going to this stupid school. And I'm like, you dumbass. But that was just me.
Well, she doesn't want to go to the school. She was trying to help.
Yeah. And then luckily at that time was the same time that Goldie Hawn found out after some dancing. There was some dancing at the gym. Was like, wait, where's my daughter? I got to go find her. And they're like, oh, yeah, we saw her get taken, back by whomever. And then they meet each other at the house.
Yeah. So we also find out, like, much like almost a little too late. I'm not saying this like diminishes the film, but I'm like, wow, this is thrown in. Much like we don't know as viewers in the Back to the Future trilogy that Marty McFly has a trigger, but it's only brought up heavily in part 2 and then 3, but like we never know about it in part 1 is Philip also shows up, like the heavyset fella. He shows up and he's just standing there, and I do like Alice looks at Dad and goes, hey, homegirl, what's happening? And Frank's like, I want full custody. But then he calls Philip fat. Ooh. And he's like, you fat ass. And Philip immediately just punches him in the face because this does come around again. And he's like, I want money to play football. And he's like, bam, no charge. And he's like, so he'll do things for free. Like if you make fun of his weight to his face, like he will just beat you down. And no charge. He's not in it for a gimmick. So that's kind of where we're at. Then we're at court. If anyone wants to bring us to court.
I like the judge here.
I like her lawyer here, who's just he's giving her. So her custody lawyer's just shooting out like football analogies to her. She's like, no, give me lawyer advice. He's like, you got to go for that first down. It's like, no, what do I do here? It's like, just don't run out of bounds.
Yeah, it's Emmett Walsh. It is like the old man you've seen almost in every movie.
He's great.
I love this guy. Yeah.
He's fantastic. Yeah. There's another name.
Yeah.
The movie's just full of them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, like this was a great recommendation. I mean, there's a ton of people in this film. It's just great to see for so many reasons.
But, fortunately, Frank's making a good case in this court scene.
Oh, yeah. Frank cleans up, and basically what happens is Goldie Hawn just really doesn't have a case, but the whole team walks in. Basically, the case is you're hanging around these rough and tumble dudes. There's profanity. There's drinking. Your daughter got drunk twice. But then the whole team walks in. And who's the winner of it? Wesley Snipes. Immediately hitting on the judge. Just like one-liners every which way to the judge. That's all I got.
That court scene was really short.
Well, he starts sitting on the judge. I have one quote, and it was, the bailiff comes over to stop Wesley Snipes because he's getting too close to the judge, and Wesley Snipes says, easy, Pops. Wait your turn.
Yep. So essentially, I think at the whole purpose of the scene was like they try really hard, and that's where you see the team come together to support her. It's like we are brought here as her character witness. Like we are here because she's a good person, she's a good coach. She would never endanger the kids or whatever, and so, but they do it in a more cursing way, which
it's still touching if you look past that.
Bad News Bear style, the rough and tumble.
Yeah, and so that's why the judge is like, yo, I'm gonna hold y'all for contempt if you guys do not back off right now.
And you could see Frank is feeling bad. Like Frank is like, maybe this went too far, because the lawyer on Frank's side is like, we're going to have full custody. She gets zero custody. There's no visitation rights. This woman's out of control. And Frank's like, whoa, like maybe this is not what I wanted. And the lawyer's like, there you go, buddy boy. Like a real sleaze bag. Like take it while you can.
Lawyers?
Yeah, like every slip up you have, like, nah.
In the end, she just kind of just gives up. She's just like, I'll give custody. And that's kind of how the scene ends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
she rolls over.
Yeah, she was like, fine, I'll do what you want me to because I won't sacrifice my kids. I think that's where you see her choosing between like her passion as being a coach, as being someone who loves football, to like, but I'm also a mother. So I'm not giving up on this one.
Yeah, this totally sucks too, because you could totally tell like Goldie Hawn is like, I absolutely have to choose my children. And she should. I mean, anyone should. But it's like, this is such bullshit that she's put in this situation. Like, you're doing super well. You've exceeded. Your school loves you. You've turned around kids kind of realistically, too. They're still, as I said, rough and tumble. I don't think they're different people, but they're like, damn, this woman's like a super solid strategist. And she's also really nice to us. And she's kick ass. And she is. So they respect her. And I do find it realistic. But like, damn, taking all these things away from her seems rough. And then we're just brought to game day. And this is where Coach Dan just ramps up being just a massive asshole.
Wait, we need to talk about that combo, yo.
Like a Street Fighter combo? Like punch, kick?
The combo between Dan and the principal.
Oh, damn it. Sorry.
That
and I had
combo.
it too. I changed the page, yes. So, since Goldie Hawn has not quit, but will quit, Coach Dan is like, I don't like this, and clearly has felt threatened the whole time. Although he's talked this big game, has felt threatened. So he goes in to talk to Nipsey Russell and was like, oh, I've looked up, a lot of the players' scores and the GPA, and you need a C- and above to play. And Nipsey Russell's like, oh, can I see that? He's like, yeah, I see. He's like, so sorry, man. Some of your players can't do it. And Nipsey Russell's like, well, we just, need to look this up on computers, and we should be getting those computers in the next 3 years. So when I get them, I will officially look these up and get back in touch with you. And I thought that was such a baller move. Yep. You asshole, you're coming in with all this money, with all this clout, with all this hot air, and like, my team finally is doing good, and you're trying to throw me under the bus with a grade point average. Like, my team's gonna kick your ass. Like, awesome. And I love Nipsey Russell for it.
Yeah. And then he continues. He's like, well, I thought you're a rule follower. Like, I know you follow the rules, and will do what you need to. And then this is where like his line, he was just
the rules were like, see you have a really nice suit.
Yeah.
But mine has a badge and yours doesn't, and technically you're trespassing. And as someone who wants rules, I should be calling the cops to have you escorted off of the premises. I love Nipsey Russell.
He's the perfect inner city principal.
Now we got the big game.
Yep.
One of my first notes is we do not have Finch playing. So Philip Finch is not playing. But in such a bizarre move, he's on the sidelines, first eating a full-size chocolate cake. And then it pans to him eating a full cheesecake. So he takes down 2 cakes.
During the time of the game.
Yes.
During the game.
Yeah, during the first half.
Yeah.
That reminded me of the Fat Boy skit, just like randomly eating a cake.
Like the beginning of Disorderlies.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's got to eat a cake.
But with this big game, I think this is where you see the change is because they're not doing as well as they thought. Because even though
they're all bummed out now.
Yeah, they're all bummed out because she made that declaration at the judge.
This is it. Yeah, this is it. This is my last game.
Yep. And so they're like, well, fuck. I'm not going to, whatever. And then go from there.
Yeah, the spirit's broken. Wildcats spirit broken.
But like all good sports movies, you go into halftime and
they're only 2 touchdowns behind, and they're in a locker room talking about it.
All you need is a good speech, which she proceeds to do. She gives the halftime speech, turns the beat around, and during the halftime speech, he also makes a decision that, you know what, I'm not quitting this semester. I'm gonna stay here, and I'm gonna coach this team next year.
Is the good speech starting off with what Woody Harrelson says, and this is the true motivator, where they go in the locker room and he says, "They're champions and we're a bunch of dildos."
I was like, damn.
I totally forgot you said that.
Yep, I do.
There's like a lot of great quotes going there.
It was. I didn't miss that.
that really revs up the spirit of the room. That's that.
Yeah, so the team's all revved up now, but then when they get back out to the field, Goldie Hawn goes back to Frank and is like, "Hey, bitch boy, like, here's what's gonna happen." And everyone in the audience is like, "Oh, boo, Frank, you're a piece of shit."
I love how the crowd turns on him.
Yeah, the crowd straight up turns on him, and then he's like, "You know what? Like, I'm kind of being a dick. Like, I'm sorry. I just want what's best. Like, reverse the decision. Everything's going back."
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a real life moment, Colorado. So I think the last baseball game I went to go see was a Cubs Rockies game. And for all of you who do watch baseball here, I love going to Cubs Rockies games because there's a lot of support for the Cubs. So it's kind of like a usually very like chill game. Like everyone's like, whoever wins just kind of be cool. Like the Cubs are cool, Rockies are cool. So it's usually fun to go. So side note, but we were at this game and a foul ball was hit, and it was a few rows in front of us, and someone who was about, I would say late 20s, kind of pushed a couple people out of the way, not hardcore, but grabbed the ball. But a couple of the people who got pushed out of the way were really little kids. And it's not like they fell down. Like the guy kind of scrambled for it. And it was kind of clear that the area was like, "Hey, give the ball to the kid." And the dude is like, "Nah." Yeah. And the crowd turned on that dude instantaneously. It was like, "Boo, give him the ball, boo." And I was like, "Oh man." And I did join in because like the kid was like 6. It was a foul ball in a random game. And the guy's like, whatever, like put his like head down and like tilted his head or a cap down too. I was like, oh my God. It was super cool. Like one of the Rockies, like persons on the side, like ran over like 5 minutes later and specifically waved the kid over and gave him another foul ball. And I was like, yeah. And then they still booed the other guy, which is kind of awesome. But that's how this crowd turned. Like even people who don't know Frank, they were booing the hell out of Frank.
Yeah, people who were just introduced to the situation were like, "What? Oh, fuck that guy."
That guy's taking this coach away. She's gold. Goldie Hawn.
Right, but how much the coach has won over.
Yeah, exactly. Her. Everyone loves the coach, and like now on the second half, Frank is fucking into this game.
That's true.
You got a Keach in your pocket.
Yeah,
and that's time to use it. And Frank seems cool with it. Like finally, she told me like he's actually smiling. He's like, all right. And his girlfriend is like, whoa, what? Like, did you catch that? Yep. Like the side view was like, we're through. Frank, you have no one, and that's what you deserve. But pay for your kid's education. And so then we get a weird move by Philip Finch. Philip Finch, who's only in it for economic gain, goes over to Coach Dan and is like, here's the situation. And Coach Dan is like, get the hell away from me. He's like, no, here's the situation. Like, I could give you the scoops and the deets. Like, I am huge, and I won't play unless I do it for money. And this guy makes fun of his weights to Coach Dan and says derogatory things to him. And then he does not punch him like he did Frank. He goes right over to Goldie Hawn. He's like, put me in. It's kind of weird. She's like dismissive of it. He's like, no, this one's for free. I've got like a score to settle. And
that was weird.
He oddly slips in. Like there is like a timeout, and is that how he gets in? Does she actually put him in?
She puts him in, but he tries to pay her. He tries.
Oh, that's right.
He tries to pay her.
He takes his money from from wherever he can, because there's no pockets in the uniforms, y'all. I did not know that.
His money in his cup.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about that later.
Yeah, and Coach Dan is aware of that. He's like, no, I got this money in my jock strap, and like Coach Dan's like, yeah, whatever, get this guy away from me. But then, they put him in the game.
Well, yeah, I mean, she doesn't want to put him in the game because last time she put him in the game, he actively sabotaged it.
Yeah.
So she's just kind of ignoring him, thinking he's being a weirdo. But then, she does ultimately put him in the game. And the other coach is like, oh shit, they're putting that fat kid in the game. And like him and the assistant coach are pointing like, oh shit, he's handing her money, like thinking there's some conspiracy afoot.
Yeah, and I knew at that scene, I'm like, that asshole's going to say something about, like, oh, that doesn't count, that score don't count, because whatever. That's what I was thinking.
I like that it blew up in his face.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
so he does this. I mean, so the gist of it is, it's like basically a tied game. They get some points, then they tie it up, and the Wildcats win with a field goal, and they're done. And that's when Coach Dan, he's like, he paid him. Like, those are my notes. Like this isn't real. They paid this guy money, and he's like, "What are you talking about?" And Coach Dan is like, "It's in his jock strap," and he tells all of his team like, get in his jock strap, and everyone's like, nah, bro,
no,
bro, no. Like everyone is like, no, and he goes for it, and what does Finch do? Is like punch him?
He picks him up and like
That's right.
helicopters him.
Yeah, and
Or
he's
no, he
like,
spikes him into the ground,
Yeah.
I think.
And,
Well, no, he's
until
like-
he shakes Goldie Hawn's hand.
Oh,
yep.
shit, yeah,
He was
that's
like,
right.
shake her hand now, or else. It's like, I'm not shaking her hand. And then
Yeah.
she's like, he doesn't have to shake my hand. It's okay. It's like, no.
And then he's thrown.
Yep.
And then there's like, yeah, you could do it. Freeze frame. The Wildcats won, and the movie's over, sort of. Then the credits roll, and we get this kind of like parody of the Chicago Bears Super Bowl Shuffle, but it's done to the LL Cool J song. So everyone's kind of dancing, and that's when I was saying like there's like rhythm and like rhymes like bop 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 bop. But in between everyone, Goldie Hawn just goes football.
Oh, yeah.
Football.
Yep.
And she's kind of looking around like oddly, so like football, like sometimes singing it. She's laughing too, like she's totally having a good time. And that's the end of the film. I'll just start with myself. We could go around this room, however you see fit.
Definitely.
Because I don't have much to add. Mine will be the most brief, I would assume. I said from the beginning, I really like this film. I thought this is a fantastic recommendation. It's a comedy movie. It's a drama. It's a bit of a romance here and there, in ways for some people. It's just like a lot of fun. This movie is totally overlooked. Goldie Hawn is completely underrated as a person. You watch this film and tell me differently. I will watch Private Benjamin. Again, I've not seen that since I was a kid. I thought some of the cameos were awesome. I would gladly watch this movie again. I had a lot of fun. Boom. I'm going to Nemo.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised that I liked it too. I liked it in a different capacity in the sense of the character itself encompasses not only a woman, but like her, like again, like I said, balancing being a mom, being a working mom, and going through a divorce and all this crap. And I'm like, but how she kind of created her space and show who she was and kept at it. And I will disagree in the fact that there was no love story. Like her love was the passion for what she was going for and
point.
for and for her kids. Like that, and I think that breaks the trope of like, oh, if it's a woman, she has to find a like romantic whatever. No, she didn't care about that. She just cared about what she would like to do as a profession. And so that's when I'm like, it wasn't bad. Like I was thoroughly surprised and enjoy all of the gimmicks of the 80s movies.
Have you ever watched The Bad News Bears? Like the original?
No.
We should all totally watch it. I mean, it would be very similar to this. I think like very little sports, more this kind of comedy and a story that comes together, and that's kind of background. I've definitely seen the newer one with Billy Bob Thornton more recently. Same, but it's fun. Like I feel like if you like that, you would like this, and vice versa.
Well, I watched like Bill Durham, the other sports stuff.
Yeah.
Bill, yeah,
Yes.
with
Bull Durham.
with Kevin Costner.
Yes. So
but yeah.
So like I've watched again sports movie and stuff like that, but like so and during the time, so I'm familiar with it, but I think it's always centered on a guy, so it's interesting to see it framed with Goldie Hawn. That's
The kind of I agree with you. The Bad News Bears, I don't want to say gimmick, but the sidestep that it does not conform to the normal trope of a sports movie is it is a guy, but he is just an unbearable drunk that you don't like, who kind of has a heart of gold for kids. So you're like, he's cool with the kids eventually, but damn, this dude's a jackass. Mike, what did you think of Wildcats?
I liked it. I'm glad we watched it. I think it was a good recommendation. To echo Nemo's sentiment, like I like specifically that there was not really a love story, that wasn't part of it. It didn't need to be, and I'm glad it wasn't there.
Yeah, I said romance. I don't know why I said that. I meant to really say like a broken part, like a broken falling apart romance, like not
Sure.
an active one.
Obviously not like a sports movie guy. I guess, is this a movie that I need to see again? Like, probably not anytime soon. Um, like we've kind of talked about this before, especially when it comes to like the 85,000 heavy metal bands that are demonically possessed movies that we've considered watching. Like, you can only watch so many of them, and if I'm gonna watch like a team of misfits gets led by a down on their luck coach, I'm gonna watch a different movie. Like, I'll probably watch a different movie directed by this director. Or if I want to watch that movie with Wesley Snipes in it, I'm going to watch Major League, which I think is a
I was
more
gonna say,
fun
what's
time.
the other sport? I was like, Mike, is it the Mighty Ducks?
It is not. I know you like the Mighty Ducks a lot. That is not a movie I really care about. But I do like Major League quite a bit.
Shame.
I know.
Shame.
I don't know why that movie just the movie never hit for me. But yeah, like I thought it was good. I liked it.
Mike,
I
oh my God,
definitely
did you just say that movie didn't hit for you? The amount of times you say, this slaps, oh my God, the parody is there. This movie didn't slap for you. Mighty Ducks slap shot, come on. It's
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
It's writing itself.
The jokes keep coming.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know about the Mighty Ducks, but yeah, I mean, this movie was fun. I definitely see like it's a female perspective. That's kind of a different. It tells a different story than like the dude centric story that most of these movies tell. Also, like I also think this movie might have passed the Bechdel test.
It did.
Like 20 years before it was invented, which I think is kind of cool.
It did 100%.
All right.
So props for that for sure.
Lamar, what are you thinking?
Thinking this movie, I agree with everybody here. We saw a good movie. Sometimes we disagree with what we see. We've seen some really bad movies. I think we can all agree that this is a good one. There's not a lot of football in this movie, so people who are afraid of seeing or trying to understand football dynamics like X's and O's, don't be afraid. I mean, it's not a deep sports movie where you have to have a lot of sports
I mean,
lore and knowledge.
no one knows
into
what slapback is.
exactly.
Still now.
There's a slapback in this movie, but I don't know what it is.
I looked it up. It's slot back. I still don't know what it is, but it's a real thing.
Wow.
Oh.
Oh, it's like a running back position, so that might be it.
Okay.
There
you go.
This movie does a better job at subtle comedy than full-blown pure comedies of that time. So I kind of like that, even though this movie is not trying to be a belly buster or anything. You can get a couple laughs. There's good scenes in it that make it pretty good. I'm totally surprised there's Wesley Snipes in his acting debut, but I think
And
this
where we
is
found out how to become Blade.
That's
We
true.
established that. Rabbit Troop Sucks broke it to you first.
But Woody Harrelson, I think, was doing TV before this, so this is his first film, but he was doing television before.
Yeah, I think that's what I read. That was considered that this is his film debut.
It's cool to see them.
Was this pre or post Cheers?
Pre.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he started, I would assume, like right after.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
I just legitimately don't know when Cheers
And
started.
just echo the sentiments from everyone here about Goldie Hawn's character. Well written. She's written well. Like, she's not a crying. She doesn't run away from her villain. She. What am I trying to say here? She's not like the mousy little. Whiny, everybody's against me. I'm gonna go run and hide in my room and cry. She fights her adversity. She meets the challenge. She talks to her team. She gives good speeches. She's not her ordinary, like, female character from the 80s that they write that are afraid of this stuff. I thought she was really good in this.
Also,
Yeah.
to follow up, Mike, to answer your question, Woody Harrelson appears on Cheers starting on season 4, which is 1985 in September. So I would assume if this was overlapping with this, that he's probably just done filming or maybe was going in on the same days. I mean, this is clearly filmed in Chicago, so
Still doing it.
I would imagine, yeah, that he was just like on the weekends and stuff doing this. Like, I can't support that, but or this ended and then he immediately went to Cheers.
Is the Cheers
about
character
right.
the same character from this movie?
Yes, not at all.
Hi, Diane. We're a bunch of dildos.
Are you aware of his character on Cheers?
Vaguely.
Oh, like he is like the hayseed who's like, what's going on? Like, I know nothing. Like, he's a very nice guy and he's very knowledgeable at bartending, but like he's like, city life, what's going on? Like, I've never heard of any of this, and is like just very clueless, like some bumpkin that walked in, and like that's like his character like through the entirety of Cheers, and then accidentally like falls in love with like a millionairess.
So different
Nice.
from this character.
Yeah, and it was like, are you kidding me? Like, this guy like backed into love with like the richest woman in town. Yeah, that's his character. Well, let me note a couple things that are kind of standard. If you listeners would like to reach out to us and tell us some more, and we've got some. Thank you. We've been noting this over the episode. Some great recommendations, and we'll actually probably get to one not next episode, but the episode after. But if you would like to reach out to us, go to rabbittroopsucks.com. You could just go directly to our webpage and write us directly there. You could write us at rabbittroopsuckspodcast@gmail.com, or you could go to Facebook or Instagram. We're pretty much there. Yeah, let us know what you're thinking. Our next movie is going to be a movie that we have not seen. It is called Flashback with Dennis Hopper and Kiefer Sutherland. I'm kind of excited to watch it.
I am also excited to watch it.
Yeah, I don't know much about it outside of it looks interesting. I'm aware of this movie and have never seen it in my life. Take that, world.
Yeah.
What-
Suck it.
What are all your final thoughts about Wildcats? Anything you want to add?
Go Wildcats!
That's the enthusiasm. I didn't expect that. Nemo, do you want to add anything to that? I didn't see where that was going.
I mean, it would have been interesting if we went with Wildcats, the comics. That would have been legendary.
Sure.
But, I mean, football's fun. Win football season. Ending football season. So, yeah, done with football season.
Football
Whatever.
season is over. And
We did
a
it.
team
We did
won.
it, and a team was victorious, and certain
Yeah.
people agreed with the results, and others did not.
Yeah.
Much like the halftime show, which was mixed with views from certain viewers.
Love it.
Hey, guys.
Love it, y'all.
Well, there's baseball season coming up here.
Boom! There's that
Oh, good.
Major League
Baseball.
2.
Yeah, I was about to say.
That's going to be the obscure movie. Major League 2, Sandlot 3. We got all the heavy hitters out there.
You find a good baseball movie to cover.
Angels in the outfield.
I have a DVD copy right next to me of Angels in
That
the
does not
Outfield.
surprise me.
And the Disney. Oh, and I have access to the original. I bought it on iTunes, so we can watch the original black and white or the Tony Danza. And oh no, I can't think of Doc Brown's real name.
Christopher Lloyd.
God, thank you, Christopher Lloyd. The Christopher Lloyd Tony Danza combo. Boom, we're in. So let us know about sports movies. Heads up, and one of the reasons I wanted to note, Flashback. Lot of Denver filming, so I was unaware.
Yeah.
It was crazy because Mike and I established we were going to watch this movie, and for whatever reason, I was like, "Where was that movie filmed?" And I looked it up, and a lot of Denver, Colorado. There's another area in Colorado, and then I think it might be another state, but a lot of Colorado scenes. So we got to pay attention to that. As always, anyone want to roll us out of here? Want to say anything? Talk about anything?
No, this Rabbit Troop sucks.
Let it go, Nemo.
No, don't put me on the spot. It was good to see everybody. Glad that y'all here, except for you.
I have
Mike.
not been able to see Nemo because she is sitting outside of the webcam.
Cool.
So I can hear her and I can see the other two, which has been very weird.
I am here. You're not.
Wow, Rabbit Troop
That's
sucks.
correct.
Rabbit Troop sucks at setting up cameras.
Yes. I'll get us a better camera.
Thank you.